This is a presentation about the Performance Audit Report on Early Childhood Education, Report 19 for financial year 2015-16. Please note this is a summary of the report to Parliament. The full report can be read on our website. Research shows that early childhood is a critical time in human development. In 2009, Australian, state and territory governments established a National Partnership Agreement for Early Childhood Education. The purpose of this and subsequent agreements is to deliver universal access to quality early childhood education. The Department's approach has been to provide convenient access to approved, affordable services, thereby removing the barriers to kindergarten. The Department of Education and Training manages the Queensland Kindergarten Funding Scheme. The scheme, known as the QKFS, is available to approved kindergarten providers that deliver approved kindergarten curriculum. The QKFS is managed by the Programs and Services team within the Early Childhood and Care Division of the Department. There are two main types of kindergarten providers eligible for subsidies under the QKFS. Dedicated part-time kindergartens that typically provide kindergarten for 5 days a fortnight, and long daycare centres that also provide kindergarten services. In 2015, there were 571 dedicated kindergarten services and 1,422 kindergarten services being delivered by long daycare centres. The claims for the dedicated kindergartens are coordinated by central governing bodies, while long daycare centres submit their claims directly to the Department. Approved providers can claim subsidies from the Department for children who are enrolled for at least 15 hours per week, as long as they meet the quality requirements of having a qualified early childhood teacher teaching the approved curriculum. In this audit, we examine how well the QKFS supports universal access to quality kindergarten services for Queensland children. We visited 18 kindergartens, 9 dedicated kindies and 9 long daycare centres. We concluded that the Department has successfully met the objectives of the National Partnership Agreement and increased the participation rate in Queensland. In 2015, 96.4% of 4-year-olds were enrolled in an approved kindergarten program. There is, however, a gap between the participation rate for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children, which is at 77.8%. We found that the $140.9 million in government subsidies allocated in 2015 helped to reduce fees and so make kindergarten accessible and more affordable. But some Queensland parents are paying too much, as some centres are not always passing on the subsidies correctly. We also found that 95.8% of kindergartens have early childhood teachers with recognised qualifications, but some service providers are not always delivering the full 15 hours per week as intended. The audit findings are in 3 areas: universal access, the quality requirements, and the management of the QKFS. The National Partnership Agreement sets the target for universal access to kindergarten at 95%. We calculate that in 2015, 96.4% of 4-year-olds were enrolled in a kindergarten program. The high level of participation overall shows that supply is meeting demand. The current strategies have increased the participation of Indigenous children from 24% in 2010 to 78% in 2015, but they have not achieved the target of 95% participation. From 2013, the Australian Government paid the states and territories based on performance on achieving the targets. In 2014-15, Queensland's allocation was $74.9 million. The state received $65 million, $9.9 million less than the allocation, as it did not achieve the Indigenous target. Quality requirements. Australia has a national framework to ensure early childhood education programs meet recognised quality requirements. One of the key quality requirements for kindergarten services is to deliver an approved learning program. All 18 centres we visited were delivering an approved learning program, thus meeting one aspect of the quality criteria. However, at the centres we visited, we found a wide variation in the settings and type of activities for the children and the amount of time spent on each. There is no research or publicly available guidance to inform the delivery of the 600 hours of kindergarten. As a result, the department cannot be certain if there are long-term advantages or disadvantages to children participating in programs that include composite kindy rooms with 2, 3 and 4-year-olds, time where the teacher is supervising both kindergarten and long day care simultaneously, different amounts of time for outdoor play, lunch and sleep. Another key quality requirement relates to the qualifications of the teacher. All the centres we visited had qualified early childhood teachers, although 2 had gaps of up to 6 weeks in the teacher's employment periods. Managing the QKFS. Kindergarten providers can only claim the subsidy for eligible aged children enrolled for at least 600 hours per year, which is typically for 15 hours per week for 40 weeks. The department reviews a sample of long daycare centres each year, but not the central governing bodies. The central governing bodies aren't reviewed because a 2013 departmental review indicated that the central governing bodies had adequate internal controls over their claims. But we found errors at 4 of the 9 dedicated kindies we visited. The department service reviews of the long daycare centres are well structured and allow the department to recoup any overclaimed subsidies, but they are limited to face-to-face visits. Only using face-to-face visits to undertake reviews is expensive and time-consuming. It reduces the number of services that can be reviewed within existing resources. We conducted some desk audits and identified from existing data sets that 151 of the long daycare centres may have claimed for ineligible 3-year-old children. We made 4 recommendations. We recommend that the Department of Education and Training provides evidence-based guidance in line with the National Quality Standard to approved kindergarten providers on the experiences and activities that can form part of an approved kindergarten program to help children successfully transition to school. We recommended the department use a broad range of internally and externally available data sources to inform the risk-based selection of kindergarten providers to review, and that it supplements its existing service review framework to include desktop reviews of subsidy claims to improve coverage of its compliance program and clear guidance to the review officers on how to apply the department's fraud and corruption control framework. We also recommend that the department requests an annual assurance statement from the central governing bodies that their individual kindergarten services comply with the Kindergarten Funding Scheme guidelines. The department has accepted all 4 recommendations. We trust this presentation has been of use. Please note this is a summary of our report to Parliament. The full report can be read on our website under Reports and Resources at www.qao.qld.gov.au. Thank you.